Hello and welcome to the fish tank.
Today we'll be talking about your future optom equipment. We'll also be releasing a document with details of this video, of the things we're talking about.
This will mostly apply to you fourth years heading onto equipment day, and to some third years as well, just for preparations for you guys. And you will see some of these companies appear in our industry day as well. So let's get started on this red one. So start on the retinoscope.
So the retinoscope is going to be pretty much your bread and butter piece of equipment. So as you can see here, it shines a bit of a light. You might be able to see that in the camera there. It shines a light into the patient's eyes, and you pretty much use what you see on the patient's eyes to be able to figure out their prescription. Now, if you have a look at the actual retinoscope itself, you have a detachable handle, and you have the actual head where the light lens actually is. The handle is where the battery is. So when you twist it together, you lock it into place, and then you can actually use it. To turn it on, it will be different between which type of retinoscope you will use, but all you need to do is twist the base of that top part, and then as soon as you twist it, the light will shine on. So in this case, I'm twisting it over here. And then you have a sleeve. So the sleeve affects the internal optics of the retinoscope, and it just shifts around some mirrors. So when you move it up and you move it down, the actual light itself changes its properties. For our case though, would most likely be just keeping it with the sleeve down. So for the comparison, so what I have is the Keeler retinoscope, and then what Will has is the Heine retinoscope.
Yes.
In terms of the differences, mainly it's probably just the weight of it. The weight of the Heine retinoscope is a little bit more than the actual Keeler one. In terms of the light source, I feel like they're also both quite similar, but you'll be able to figure this out when it comes to the actual...
They're both LEDs anyways.
Yes.
So they'll remain bright for a very long time. And you should be able to switch out the bulb, I believe.
Yeah, you can switch out the bulb for both of them.
Yeah, you should be able to switch out the bulb, especially with LEDs. The one you would use in the pre-clinic is mostly halogen, so they're more dull than what you see in the LEDs. Ridwan, let's just talk about BIOs now.
Yeah, sure.
So with the BIO, there's a few components to the BIO. You have the headband, you have the adjusters for the headbands, you have some controls here, and this is sitting on the optic unit, the controls of the optic unit, and then you got your other position and other clamps as well. So what does a BIO do? So imagine you can think of a BIO as like a portable slit lamp but for your head. It allows you to see far peripheral views all the way to the ora serrata of the eye. So it's really good if you're doing dilated fundus examination, then this will be a critical part of your dilated fundus examination.
So William has the Heine BIO, and I have the Keeler BIO. Heine BIO has...
Yep, certainly. So there's a few light settings. This one is the diffuse light, smaller diameter circle here, medium one, and this is the large one. And then there's different color options as well. So you got the normal white light here, the green light. When you got the yellow light, this is really just used for patient comfort. Most of the time you don't use this light. In the blue light you can almost neglect. The other option is you can adjust the height of the light as well. Just because if maybe you're at a high position or low position, you can adjust the light here as well. And then obviously you can adjust the intensity.
With the Keeler BIO, it's essentially very, very similar. So you have the power button that you kind of turn to turn the actual light on. Now the actual knob has the intensity as well, so you can make it very bright or you can dim it down. In terms of the size of the actual lights, we have three options, just as the same as the Heine BIO. So you're able to switch between the So the small, medium, and the large lights as well. In terms of the color, we only do have three options. So we have kind of like a blue light, and then you have your white lights, and you have a diffuse light as well. In terms of the weights, the Keeler BIO, the one that I have, is a little bit heavy. It is also more front heavy than it is back. It does not require a cable to be plugged in. Both of the BIOs, they don't need a cable to be plugged in at all times. You can kind of charge the battery separately and then you're able to use it freestanding. That being said, you won't be using BIO that's like for a long duration. Usually it's about less than 5 minutes because all you're doing is just having a look at the back of the patient's eyes. Remember, it is also very bright, so your patient won't last more than 5 minutes doing BIO. So it is a bit heavier, but it doesn't make too much of a difference.
The Heine one, you're able to fold this in kind of halves, and you're also able to collapse this part so you can bring it a bit more in. Some other quality of life features is the Heine BIO has a USB-C charging port.
The Keeler BIO, you do have to use the wall mount charger. You can't charge this without that wall mount charger. You don't actually have to mount it on the wall. I like to keep mine on my desk and just plop it on and then it will charge.
Yeah. In terms of lenses, there's the big companies, Volk lenses, and then you have another smaller company which is Catena lenses, and you can also have other lenses from, was it BOC?
I think BOC, yeah.
BOC also supplies lenses.
Volk lenses are pretty much the top of the range lenses that you will be using. So I think we should get started with the Fundoscopy lenses. So this one you'll be using behind a slit lamp. They are quite a small lens. So there are different types, and I think when you're deciding between the lenses, the two most popular ones that you will notice are the 90D and the super digital Fundo lenses. The main differences between them is pretty much that they have different magnification and different field of views. Now the details of that we will just show you in the document. And also because they have different magnification, they will also have different working distances as well. William has the Catena lens for his Fundoscopy or his Fundo lens. We both did get the 90D. What you'll notice is all the lenses have different sizes. So because you're going to be practicing Fundoscopy the most, you might notice that having a smaller lens or a lighter lens will be better.
So we'll move on to the BIO lens. In terms of the BIO lens, the most common lens you can buy is a 20D, while Ridwan has a pan ret, which I believe was part of your bundle deal.
Yes, it was part of the bundle deal.
Part of his bundle deal was the pan ret 2.2. What's the main difference between a pan ret and a 20D?
Yeah, so the pan ret lens has a slightly larger field of view compared to the 20 diopter lens. But because it does have a wider field of view, that also means that it has slightly less magnification. And that would then in turn affect the working distance. So you basically have to hold the pan ret lens a little bit closer to the patient, whereas with the 20D lens, it could be held a little bit further away. Obviously, this also depends on how close you are with your BIO. That affects it as well. One
important part of your clinical examination is observing the angle. You don't do this often, but one way to do it is through using a Gonio lens. You have to actually contact the eye with the lens.
Unlike the Fundo lens.
So you can see the angle. Now there's 4 types. There's flanged, which Ridwan has.
Yep.
And then there's unflanged, which I have. Then there's also 4 mirror or 3 mirror. We both have 4 mirror, and it's easier to look at the angles with a 4 mirror, but 3 mirror has the advantage of having other lenses that comes with it, built into the lens. Now, in terms of unflanged and flange, you can think of it as like having a contact lens on the eye. So when you put it on the eye, it's like a suction in a way.
Yeah.
So you do have to be careful in removing the lens, and you do have to put in extra drops for it as well. While with unflanged, you can just have anesthetic drops in, and then you just try to put it on, and that's it.
I think another thing with the flanged Gonio lens, it is a bit easier to handle because it does have the suction feature, I guess you could say. When you do put it on the eye, it basically stays on the eye unless you put some pressure to remove it, which means that during your examination, you can focus more on actually looking through the actual angle of the eye to check, is it open or closed. Whereas with the unflanged lens, yes, you can just put it on top and examine, but you need to keep your hand steady and keep it at a certain pressure on the eye, because otherwise you won't be able to get the view you want. Alright, so the first thing we're going to put inside our clinic bag will be our clinic pencil case. This has all the essentials in it, like the retinoscope and whatnot. Next will be our other clinic pencil case. This is what we get from Dale. It's got all the solutions inside. Next will be our lenses. So that's our Gonio, Fundo and BIO lenses. They all actually can fit into the side pocket here of the actual bag. It's got an elastic around it so that you can pretty much fit stuff in there and stretch it out a little bit, okay? Now the last bit is our BIO. Now BIO has pointy bits on the top here, so essentially what I'm going to do is just slot that in between the pencil cases, and then from that we should be able to close the bag. That's all done. Alright, so this is William's bag. This one's a little bit different. We essentially already have all of the smaller stuff that was actually found in this pencil case. We found that, he's basically opened up each box and kind of put it all inside there, okay? So his one's a little bit different. He has this region here for the BIO, and then the BIO will just go straight inside there. Then we have the trial frame. He puts the trial frame just slotted inside there. And then after that we have his lenses. So this is William's Catena lenses. So he has the big one just inside here, and then these two smaller ones inside this pocket over here. Okay, now it's a little bit different. This pencil case does not go inside the bag. He carries that separately, and that's pretty much it for this one.